What if the forest you thought was a safe place hid a secret that could change everything? Deep in Redwood National Park, in the summer of 2024, three hikers stumbled upon an old forgotten cabin. Inside, they found something strange: cassette tapes, each one darker than the last. Curious, they decided to listen. What could be the harm in hearing one? But what they heard was the final warning of a man who uncovered something terrifying, something far worse than they ever expected. And now that truth is about to come to light. Emma, Jake, and Liam had always loved the outdoors. They'd hiked through mountains, crossed deserts, and explored quiet forests. But this trip to Redwood National Park felt different. This time, they weren't searching for adventure. They were craving peace. Deep in the forest, away from everyone else, they found exactly what they were hoping for. Emma was the first to notice it: a small, old cabin, almost hidden behind thick trees. It seemed out of place, like it didn't belong there. "Do you guys see that?" she asked, squinting through the underbrush. Jake, who was always more cautious, hesitated. "A cabin? Out here?" But Liam, the adventurous one, was already walking toward it. "Could be an old ranger station," he said. The forest grew unusually quiet as they got closer. The air smelled of damp earth and decay. When they reached the cabin, they saw it clearly for the first time. The roof sagged, the windows were cracked, and the door barely hung on its hinges. Inside, the air was thick with dust, and broken furniture was scattered across the floor. But what caught their attention wasn't the damage. It was a cassette recorder on a table, surrounded by old tapes. Each one had strange labels: The Watcher, It's Coming, The Final Night. Curiosity took over. Emma slipped the first tape into the recorder. The tape clicked on with a sharp crackle, and a faint, trembling voice filled the room. "They're out there. I can hear them watching. I don't know how much longer I can hold on." The voice was shaky, as if the person was struggling to stay calm. In the background, there were noises: footsteps shuffling, stumbling across the cabin's wooden floor. The speaker was clearly trying to stay quiet, like they were hiding from something, trying not to be seen. The voice grew weaker, their breathing becoming more panicked. "I can't breathe. They're getting closer. Then everything went quiet. The silence was deafening, filling the cabin with a heavy sense of dread. Emma's heart raced, her fingers gripping the edge of the table. She looked at Jake and Liam, both pale, their eyes wide in disbelief. Then a whisper, so quiet it sent chills down their spines. "If anyone finds this, they will be next." The room grew colder. The silence that followed felt suffocating. Emma's pulse pounded in her ears. They were in the same cabin. Could they be next? Liam, his voice barely audible, reached for the second tape. The second tape clicked into place with a burst of static, followed by the frantic voice of the speaker. "I thought I was alone, but they're not human. It's too late. If you hear this, don't come to the cabin. They're everywhere. They're getting closer." The man's words came in quick, panicked bursts, his breath shallow and fast. It sounded like he was running, stumbling, trying desperately to escape something. The fear in his voice was clear. What he faced wasn't simply an animal, but something beyond that. "They're not only watching," the voice continued, trembling with terror. "They're learning, and they're getting smarter." The words sent a chill through the group. Whatever was out there was not only dangerous but also changing. The voice grew softer and more strained, as though the speaker was losing all hope. Then the tape went silent. Only static filled the air for a long moment, before a final, whispered sentence cut through. "They've already found me." Emma shuddered, the cold air around them growing stronger. Liam, usually the one to doubt everything, had gone pale. "That sounded like David Matthews," he whispered. The truth hit them all. Matthews had been here. Once they realized the voice on the tape was David Matthews, the hikers were determined to find out what happened. Matthews had been a respected wildlife investigator, known for his studies on animal behavior and the strange disappearances in Redwood National Park a year ago. Authorities had never figured out why he vanished, but now the hikers understood. Matthews had uncovered deep secrets. They began searching the cabin, Desperate for more clues, they found notebooks filled with messy notes, maps, and research papers. Matthews had been looking into more than animals. He was also investigating the disappearance of people. Hikers, campers, and entire camps had vanished without a trace. His research had led him deeper into the forest, and it was clear now, something much unimaginable was happening. Liam's hands trembled as he flipped through the papers, his eyes widening with every word. He'd started asking questions about things better left buried. Between the pages, they found a map with locations Matthews had visited. Some were regular research spots, but others were marked with red X's. Matthews' pursuit had crossed into unfamiliar, unsettling territory. The group pieced it together. A group of powerful environmentalists were behind secret experiments to modify local wildlife to survive extreme conditions. Matthews had uncovered their project, and he was getting too close to exposing it. The more they discovered, the more they realized. The forest was hiding more than a simple mystery. After hours of searching, the hikers finally found the last tape, the final message Matthews had left. Emma's hands shook as she put the tape in the recorder. It hissed to life, and Matthews' weak, exhausted voice came through. "I can't outrun them anymore," Matthews whispered, his voice barely audible. "They know where I am. They've always known." The room grew colder as his words sank in. Emma exchanged nervous glances with Jake and Liam, all of them thinking the same thing. Matthews had been running from something, or someone, but now he sounded like he had given up. The experiments, they changed more than the animals. They changed the people too, Matthews continued, his voice cracking. The truth hit them hard. Matthews had been exposed to much more than genetic changes in animals. The experiments had turned to humans. The creatures Matthews had been studying, wildlife hybrids, were only the beginning. The real horror was that the authorities had been conducting human experiments, and Matthews had become their target. "They've been watching me," Matthews gasped. "They're more than animals now. They've learned, and now they're coming for me." The last sentence was cut off by static. The hikers froze when a noise outside broke the silence. Slow, deliberate footsteps. Their blood ran cold as the weight of Matthews' words sank in. The footsteps outside grew louder, slow, and deliberate, sending a chill down the hikers' spines. Panic set in as they realized something, or someone, was closing in on them. Without a word, they quickly packed up and raced toward the town. The forest, once peaceful, now felt suffocating. Every rustle of leaves and snap of branches made their fear grow. They had to escape, and they had to do it fast. As they neared the edge of the forest, a shadow appeared ahead. Officers stepped into their path, their cold, emotionless faces sending a wave of dread through the group. For a moment, the hikers felt a brief sense of relief. Help had arrived, but it didn't last long. The officers directed them back into the woods. Emma's heart sank. It hit them all at once. The officers weren't there to help. They were part of the cover-up. Liam's whisper broke the tense silence. "They know what we found. They're taking us somewhere no one will find us." Fear gripped their hearts. Without hesitation, the hikers turned and ran, pushing through the thick underbrush, their legs burning with the effort. The officers shouted behind them, but they didn't dare look back. Every footstep seemed to echo their desperation. After what felt like forever, they finally broke through the trees and reached the outskirts of the town. Out of breath but determined, they ran straight to the police station. "We found the tapes, the experiments. They're still out there," Emma shouted, her voice frantic. The officers at the desk looked at them skeptically at first, but as Emma explained everything they had uncovered, their faces shifted from doubt to disbelief and then to fear. The truth was out, and it couldn't be ignored any longer. The conspiracy was exposed. The experiments were shut down. The hikers had survived, and the dark secrets of the Redwoods would finally be revealed. The forest would never be the same again. And so, the hikers uncovered a chilling conspiracy hidden deep in the Redwoods, one that will change the way we look at the forest. But even as the truth comes to light, the question remains: how many more secrets are lurking in the shadows? Do you think there's more to discover, or has the truth been buried for good? Let us know your thoughts below. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into mysteries that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Until next time, stay safe out there, and remember, some secrets are better left untouched. This Mind Unfolded